Hey, I'm Tanner. I'm on the product side for Customer Agent. Customer Agent is an AI agent that works directly with your customers to automate conversations, whether that is pre-sales, understanding the product catalog, or post-sales like service interactions. You can get that all up and running with Customer Agent. And this video is going to walk you through how to do that. So I'm in Klaviyo. I'm in Service Customer Agent. And I've already onboarded in this workspace. But once you go through the onboarding, you'll land in this Get Started tab. The first thing to really make sure that you have done is making sure that we have content added to your workspace. So when you go through onboarding, we automatically will go and have the agent learn from your website. You'll see that website added as an option in content here. That lets it learn about all of your product catalog, public information on your website, like your product description pages. If you have FAQs or things like that on there, the agent will get access to all of that. And you'll see its status as it's learning. And once it's set to live, you're good to go. Now, on the content tab, you can also add additional information here. So if there are files that you have that are uploaded, you can add specific text for the agent, but really think of content as the foundational understanding, factual understanding that the agent's going to have of your business, what you sell, your policies. So once that's live, you can jump right into the preview tab on the right. The preview tab lets you select a channel and optionally a profile so that you can see exactly what the agent is going to respond based on the channel and the profile's context. So typically what we see is brands will come in and they'll have a handful of use cases that they really want to make sure their customer agent can nail, right? This might be high volume support tickets, might be high value customer interactions that maybe your team has been slow to respond to in the past. But using the preview panel is a great way to immediately see how the agent is going to respond to those types of questions. So maybe for me, returns and exchanges is a big deal. So maybe I can ask it something like, what's your return policy? Now, the preview panel is going to give you insight into exactly what the agent is thinking and the steps that it's taking to get that response. So you can see here that it used a skill and it read some content that we've uploaded. We can see that, okay, it knows my return policy, but it knows some information about it. If you'd like to start a return, and I'd say like, yes, maybe I'd like to start a return, right? So this is like a really common question that we'll see. Now it's, again, using a skill to do this. I can help with our returns. Our policy allows 30 days, specific order. Please log into your account so I can look up your order details. Okay, so that's a good starting point. Maybe I don't want to have the users log in. Maybe what I want to have happen is just send them a link right to the portal and save them a step. So now I can jump to the build tab. Now the build tab is the fastest and easiest way to configure your customer agent. The build tab is an AI agent that we've trained to be a specialist on how to set up customer agent. Maybe I'll say something like send users a link to our return portal as soon as they ask about exchanges. Also, please include some emojis to match our brand. All right, so now I can tell the build panel some process that I'd like it to take and some information about how it should communicate. Now the build panel, again, knows exactly how to configure customer agent. So it knows that it needs to create a skill. Skills are really the workhorse for customer agent. Every response that customer agent generates uses a skill to follow the instructions, know the process that it needs to do, and also the information that it should call. So we can see with that one simple prompt, we now have a skill, start return with link. Let me click on that and see what the build tab came up with. Okay, and just like that, the build tab has created this new skill for me, start return with link. It includes descriptions for the agent in terms of when to actually use this skill. And it has instructions about how to respond based on that really easy, simple prompt that I gave it. So it's saying goal, get the customer to the return portal as quickly as possible, as well as the steps that it needs to take. And the build panel also knows the tools that are available to the workspace. Now, when we think about skills and tools, skills are the instructions that the agent should follow. You can think of these as like your operating procedures that the agent is going to follow. And tools are effectively integrations. and they let the agent go and work with your tech stack so that it can read and write across any tool that has an API endpoint. So we can see here that we had one created for return deep link that is using loop. And if we don't have a pre-created one, you can always go to the skills tab. In the skills tab, you'll be able to, in the tools tab, you'll be able to build tools yourself. So if we don't have a tool that comes out of the box, you can build a custom one. And this allows you to connect to anything with an API endpoint with HTTP method. So again, if you're not an expert in this, the build panel can help you get through creating a custom tool here as well. So these are super powerful, really flexible. It lets the agent go and communicate with any tool in your tech stack. And then with the complementary skills, it gives it instructions in terms of how to use those tools. Now, lastly is guidance. So the build tab can help you update this as well, but this is where you can define more cross-cutting information. So things like voice and tone, communication style. So we can see I had that emoji prompt before. So now that's included in the guidance. And there's also escalation rules. So if there are scenarios where you don't want your agent to respond and just want to hand it off to your team, you can define those here. So maybe if someone says that an item arrived damaged, we don't want the AI to respond to that. We want to get that to humans. This is exactly where you could go and add that guidance. Again, you can tell the build tab all of this, and it can create this all for you. So once you're happy with how the agent is responding, you feel like it's solid on those use cases, you've gone through and tested it, you've built it, maybe done some iteration yourself, now it's time to launch. So you can come to any of these tabs for channels at the bottom. These let you launch the agent on whichever channel you want. It's very much a train once, launch everywhere type of model. So let me come to Webchat, for instance. I already have Webchat connected and up and running with Klaviyo. If I didn't, you'll see instructions here for how to go and do that. And then there's just a couple quick settings here. So you can have the agent target everyone or specific segments or keywords. There's an introduction and critically the handoff method. So based on certain skills, if your agent is not able to answer and does need to escalate to a human, this is the information and how you set up where to go. So it can create tickets in a number of help desks, and those tickets will include all of the conversation context and history for your to respond effectively. So once you're happy, you'll be able to come to the top right here and click launch, and you're good to go. And once you have it live, you'll be able to see the performance and all of the conversations on this analytics tab, so you can understand how it's doing and the types of questions and skills that your agent is handling. And from here, you can start to iterate and improve.